everyone, this is Rachel and I'm here with another process video. Now today I'm going to be working with this photo of my dog Sadie, who at the moment in this photo has a feather stuck to her face. So I thought that was kind of cute and I'll go ahead and do a layout about it. I'm going to be working with the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. Mostly it's a little bit of the paper, including this one called Moments, and a lot more of the embellishments that came with it. Now for some reason I decided not to move my trimmer, which of course then means my photo goes on my paper crooked and it's a pain in the butt to get back off, and I don't know why I was being so silly, but I was. Now as I mentioned, I'm going to be working mainly with the embellishments. I did want to add a little bit of paper. I am going to be working with some mixed media, but I like to get my paper layers all sorted out so that way I am not basically doing mixed media and then covering it all up with paper. I've done that several times and gotten annoyed with myself, so I wanted to make sure I got my main paper so that way I could work with my mixed media outside of that. So of course I have to use this little bird paper because she's got a feather on her nose. Now here's a funny thing to note about this layout. As I'm working on this layout, I'm using my Martha Stewart Little Heart Punch. I actually don't know what the proper name is. And apparently one of them must fall into the floor because as I'm working on this layout, my roommate takes this picture and sends it to me, and it's Sadie with one of the heart cutouts stuck to her nose. I don't know if that's ironic or meta or some other term, but I thought it was funny. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just randomly glue these little heart pieces that I punched out all over my layout. What I'm doing right now is I have the paper down. It's not glued down. I'm just using that so I can outline where my paper is so I don't glue a lot of hearts underneath where the paper is. Now, my background white sheet of paper is gessoed. These little hearts are not. So when I start to use my mixed media, it does make a difference. I actually really like it. It turned out really cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is use this dot fade stencil from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to do that as I would use pattern paper as a giant layer, but instead I'm going to use texture paste and some Heidi Swapp color shine. I'm going to use pink, and then because in the Maggie Holmes Bloom, it's not a bright pink, I add a little bit of blush, which to me is really just kind of beige with a tiny bit of pink in it. Now, I can never, if I'm trying to mix colors, I never get them right in the first try. That's why I really like the Ranger texture paste because it is very dry. So you can add a lot of liquid to it and not have it get super soupy. Sorry, I make myself laugh. I don't know. I'm just a little crazy like that. So what I'm doing is I am laying down the stencil, and I'm just doing it on the outer parts. So I do all the way down the side, and then I'm just doing the top and the bottom on the parts where it's not going to show. Now, I do cut away from that just because it's kind of boring watching me do that over and over again. But now what I'm doing is I'm adding more mixed media in the guise of the packaging technique and the color Seafoam. I think it's Seafoam. Yes, it's Seafoam and Ocean. I mixed that together to get that kind of bluish green, but I accidentally added mint, and I was like, oh, way too dark, way too dark. So as I was saying before, I gessoed the paper, but the little hearts are not gessoed. So once it dries, the hearts are a little bit darker than the actual paper, and it just looks so good. I was so happy with the way this turned out. I cannot tell you. Now, I'm getting out my photo paper block because I remembered I had purchased the vellum that came with the Wonder Collection by Crate Paper, and this vellum has tiny gold triangles on it, so I wanted to use that as a layer because it can add a little bit more texture without covering up any more of the paint. You'll be able to see all of the mixed media through the vellum. So I'm just getting this down as a layer, and I just want it slightly bigger than my entire photo paper block. So once I get that all set out, I go ahead and grab my embellishments and go ahead and glue down my paper photo block because all of my background stuff is dry. Now, I'm one who uses a lot of glue in the first place, but I really made sure to glue down everything. When the camera is off, I actually go and glue down all of my chipboard pieces that I'm adding, and this is from the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. Once I pull out a couple of those big floral pieces to add, I decide to go through. What this is it's the leftovers of the die cut pack plus the leftovers of a cut apart sheet. I don't end up using any of it. I don't have a ton left over, and what I used just wasn't going to fit. I was looking more for smaller pieces since I had those big chipboard florals as my big pieces. So I grabbed this floral wreath and I'm just going to chop it in two and use it in the upper and lower right and left hand corners, basically sticking with my embellishment areas that I've created, starting with those big floral pieces. Now, I am adding extra glue to almost everything just because of all the mixed media on this. There's gesso, there's texture paste, there's watered down ink, not to mention there is extra pieces glued on top of the gessoed pieces. So I just wanted to be very, very certain of everything staying on my layout. So I go ahead and add that banner piece. I thought, for two reasons, I thought it was really cute under the photo, but if you notice in the pattern paper under the photo, there's a couple of birds. It kind of looked like the little birds were sitting like they'd sit on a telephone wire, so I thought that was really cute. Now, I add a piece of washi from the washi booklet, and now I'm getting to start on my title. Now, I purchased these pink paisley C'est La Vie chipboard alphas from Studio Calico when they were on super clearance. I was so happy they were still in stock. I was like, oh, great. So I think I paid like $1.99 for them. I was so excited. I love a bargain, just like everyone. So part of my title is going to be using those gold-dipped white ones, and the other part of my title is going to be using the thickers that come with the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. Now, in that lower right-hand corner, I'm adding a couple of the puffy word stickers that came with the Bloom collection, and then I'm also going to add this two-toned heart. When I'm doing embellishment clusters, I like to start with my biggest pieces first. Now, whether I'm layering the embellishments on top of each other, as I sometimes do, or whether in this case I'm doing just them in the same area, I like to have every color that's represented in one embellishment cluster to be represented in the other embellishment cluster. So that's why I added that yellow flare, and that's just from my stash up into the upper left-hand corner because I do have yellow in the bottom. I have that tealy blue color in the upper left-hand corner as part of the leaf, so I wanted to add the teal to the bottom. And the same is the green on the yellow flower the leaves on the yellow flower has more of a green, so I added that green sticker to the upper left hand, and I'm also adding this chipboard sticker words to the upper left hand to go along with the puffy ones I have in the lower right hand. I'm not good with my left and right, so it took me a second to get that. I'm adding a couple of banner stickers to go along with a puffy flag sticker that I'm going to add. And I also, as I was chatting about embellishment clusters, I added that little chipboard bird next to part of my title. So here's where I'm adding that flag, and I also added a couple of wood veneers, and those are the really old ones from Studio Calico. I still have a ton of those left. I love them. I love them just as a basic element. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish off my title. I have a love-hate with these stickers. They have absolutely no stick to them whatsoever, but they're very, very pretty. So, and actually, it's only the numbers that I have an issue with. Everything else is staying on the sheets, but for some reason, the numbers will not do so. So I went ahead and glued that all down off camera, and I added a couple of gold enamel dots, and now I'm just doing my journaling about how she's such a goofball, but we love her, she's a goofball. It was funny, though. She's never gotten a feather stuck to her nose, and she was very scared of the feather, especially since the cat showed a lot of interest in the feather. Now, I finished my journaling, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more mist in the gold Heidi Swap. I'm going to add some Heidi Slop Color Shine in both black and gold. However, I should have covered up my little black words because I got a little black on it, which makes it very hard to read, so I just had to clean that up. I am going to be finished with my layout. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. If you are watching this right away, you will note that you have 1 week left until May 7th to enter my giveaway for my 1,000 subscribers. If not, I hope you're enjoying watching the video anyway. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much for watching me today. Bye!